Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. I'm Steve Bakken, along with, oh, wait a minute, you're not Marlo Anderson. You're Brad Feldman. How you doing, Brad?
Doing great. How are you, Steve?
I am good. Thanks for filling in a couple segments today. Wanted to talk a little bit about, so you're an Apple guy, right?
I am an Apple guy.
So you got all the toys.
Well, I got most of the
toys.
I just converted about a year ago.
Okay, well, so you were a convert, though.
I am a convert.
Why? So you were the other guy before that, right?
Yeah, I was the other guy. I was the guy.
Because I'm an Android person. I'll walk into a room and crash a Mac.
Right, exactly. So I still use the HP computers, but my family got tired of me having the different colored bubble when we did text messages. So I kind of got tired of that, and then billeting with the Bobcats, all them had Apples, so they all converted me over to Apple for the phone, the AirPods, and obviously an Apple Watch. So
wrong colored bubble. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of a lot of reasons why people have switched one way or the other. And it's funny though, because not a lot of people switch.
No, when you get set, you get set. And I always said I'm too old to try to learn something.
Yeah. So what was the transition like for you?
It was tough. It was very tough. I literally had to go to my 13-year-old kid, well, at the time was 12, and I'm like, could you teach me this? Like, he was teaching me stuff as we went.
How do I use this?
Exactly. How do I download an app? It was a rough transition, but I'm glad I made it. I
Really?
love my Apple. I love it.
So what do you like about it better than Android?
It seems like it's a little easier to use, and it seems like it's more connected as far as AI. Obviously I'm busy, I'm running every day. If I just need to send someone a quick message, and I know I could do it on my Android, but it wasn't as easy, and
Just a little clunkier.
yeah, the talk to text was a little tougher to do. So this is like, people laugh at me all the time. I'm at my kids' events and I'll be walking around and I'm just like, hit the button. Hey Siri, text so-and-so this, and it is perfect.
So it's more about your butler, rather than the platform itself.
The biggest thing is I've been looking for AI assistants because in my regular job, I have a lot of things.
There's apps for that, though. You can take the app.
I know, but I've been looking at some where you have to pay like so much a month just to help me out with stuff. But this has been just great. I just put stuff right on my calendar right there. Just hit the side button and away we go.
See, now we've got a mixed household in our home because my wife is a Apple person and I'm an Android person. But the biggest thing she uses is the video.
That's perfect.
Perfect. But that's how she communicates a lot with the video side of things. I'm like, we can do that too. We just have to use a third-party vendor. It's Messenger because we have different platforms. So it's like, no big deal. It's just like, but trying to teach her how to do that was difficult for me because she didn't want to learn that as easily as, oh, okay. And then she forgets about it all the time either. It's just like,
right.
Well, how do I answer my phone?
Right.
Because it's got a ring.
Yeah. So my 10-year-old will only do an Android. We finally bought him a phone, which is probably a little too early for a phone, but he was using one of my old ones and it just wasn't working for him. So we bought him a phone. He will only do an Android for one reason. He wants to play Fortnite with his friends. And you cannot play Fortnite supposedly on an app.
Well, that's one of the things with Apple products, and they make no bones about it. Apple platform is geared towards adults, and Android, because of all the different app configurations, it's a little bit more user-friendly for younger people.
Yes.
So that's kind of one of the differences, one of the nuances between Apple and Android.
Yeah.
But then there's Google. It's kind of somewhere in between.
Right. You're still using Google on your Apple products.
Right.
It all works together.
So not that hard of a transition for you. So were you excited about Apple Day? Because when I talked to you, you were like, toys. You're hooked now because of the Apple stuff. It's more about the Apple experience than it is the platform.
Correct. Yeah, it's about the Apple experience. It's about just collecting all the Apple products you can. You got to get a bunch of apples, right? So that's the whole thing. That
would be a bushel.
Yeah,
a bushel of apples.
Someday someone's going to wear me down. I'm going to get a Mac computer, but that's for another day.
Not right now.
No, but man, I tell you what, once I got over to Apple, I got everything. I got the watch. I got the AirPods now. Like, I'm that guy walking around the mall with one AirPod in just so I can listen to a podcast or listen to music as I'm walking around the stores. Like, yeah, I'm that guy now.
Well, I guess it makes sense as you get older, because one of the things that they broached with Apple Day and talking about some of the new product lines and stuff is where they're going with AirPods is they're going to be able to utilize them as hearing aids.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a little hard of hearing, when you walk up to somebody and you think they're ignoring you because they have their AirPods in, they're not. They could be listening to you.
Exactly. No, my wife would tell me I'm hearing impaired. She always laughs every time we get a Miracle Ear mailer in the mail. She's like, maybe they're telling you need to go. But
was that like me with getting ARP things that I've been getting for a long time now? I'm like, I'm not old enough for.
Yeah, I get those too. Yeah. But, we drove to Fargo this weekend and my kids want to listen to music. My wife listens to music. I listen to podcasts, and I got my AirPods in driving down to Fargo, and I'm just listening to my podcast all the way there. But it's weird because it's noise canceling. So you hear nothing. Like, you just hear like a slight hum of the road, but that's it. Like, I don't even hear my kids, nothing.
As a parent, that could be beneficial, but
it's way beneficial.
Okay. So, and I don't know if this is the case anymore, but it used to be illegal to drive with headphones on.
It is. I'm sure it still is. I'm almost guaranteed.
But I'm curious. It's like, okay, so if you have a Bluetooth device and wireless headphones for being able to talk on the phone, or what is better known now as a hands-free device, that's got to be legal.
Well, I'm kind of curious how that's working in these hands-free states. Like Minnesota, you can't have your phone up to your ear. You can run it through your system, but you could also run it through your AirPod, which has noise canceling. Most people are going to have noise canceling AirPods. So where's the give and take with the law and safety? And
that's a great question. I'll have to look into that for future show, because I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. But the number of people I see driving around with their AirPods in, or even the big headphones we have on right now, I mean, it's crazy.
While driving.
Yeah. When I was learning how to drive, that was a no-no. And we were told that right away, no headphones.
I talked to your insurance agent. I'm not sure they would agree that you know how to drive yet. But
yeah, and hopefully know how to from listening.
Brad drives a blue truck. Sorry about that. You're tuned to the Tech Ranch.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
We're talking with Brad Feldman about Apple. He's a recent convert from the Android platform over to the Apple platform, and I don't know how you did it. You told us it was your youngest that kind of walked you through, or not youngest, but your 12-year-old at the time that was like, okay, because I'll get a new phone and go, and I'll sit there and like, first thing that goes through my head, I should hand this to a 6-year-old. Because they'd figure it out for me. And it's like, okay, teach me. But you're a convert. And, of course, Apple Day is a big day. And they come out with all the cool new Apple stuff because you're addicted to the Apple toys now. Yep. iPhones, AirPods, Apple Watches, the AI component. A lot of cool stuff. In fact, so the iPhone 16, that's the new one coming out. And incorporating AI. And you were a recent convert to AI in part because that was You were looking for that AI help.
Yep. I was looking for the assistant.
And you decided to go the Google or the Apple route with that.
Yeah. You know, and I'm looking at this here, you know, the iPhone 16 Pro. I'm actually up for a new phone here around Thanksgiving. So you never know. This maybe this is going to be it. But
you know, it's funny. I'm an Android person. Marlo's an Android person. And Marlo just couldn't wait. Got the new Samsung Galaxy, and it was like right before AI. He even knew AI was coming out with it.
Yep.
And he couldn't wait. And so I actually got an AI phone before Marlo did.
Oh,
kind of.
That's one up in the tech guy there.
Yeah, a little frightening in my world.
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, this iPhone 16 Pro looks awesome. Built for Apple Intelligence, personal, private, powerful camera control, an easier way to quickly access camera tools. I mean, someone like me who does a lot of media stuff, that's kind of a nice thing to have and all these different aspects of it.
Okay, that's one thing I want to talk to you about because you mentioned you don't have Mac yet.
Nope.
But I've got a lot of friends that do because they work in digital content, digital editing, graphic design, and they swear up and down, and I'll agree with them. The platforms that Apple has on the Mac side with that content creation, the digital editing, the video side, the graphics, you can't argue with it.
No, I think if you're in that field, like I'm not in the graphic design, that part of it. I'm more in the making of videos. If you're in the graphic design and all that fun stuff, you have to have a Mac computer. That is even when I was in college going for mass communication, graphic design, things like that. Yeah, it was all Macs. There was no Windows.
So going back to the iPhone 16 Plus or Pro, Plus, you're a Pro. One of the cool things is larger buttons. And the first thing that popped into my head, because I remember this with phones, because I'm going to date myself a little bit. Way back in the day, when cell phones kind of first came out, you know, back in the flip phone days. And I remember there was a phone that was like maybe 2 inches tall because everybody was trying to get to smaller phones. And now we've seen that swing the other way where phones are getting bigger. Well, now you can get phones that are basically a tablet, or you can have a tablet that you can turn into your phone.
Yep.
So just depends on what you load for apps. But one of the things with the iPhone 16, okay, I'm a big fan of the bigger buttons.
Yeah, me too.
But there's a tipping point on the phone because I actually went through this because I had traded in a phone. It was actually my first smartphone. Used to that, trading it in. And I would text with one hand.
Yeah.
And my new phone was slightly larger, and I didn't realize it. And why does my thumb hurt all the time? And I went to the doctor, and it's like, you text a lot? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, show me. And one hand text. And he goes, you sprained your thumb. I'm like, that's a thing? Yeah, because it was a little bit bigger phone. So the reach to try to get my thumb over to the far left side of the screen, I sprained my thumb.
Yeah. That's why on these larger phones, like I got here.
You got a two-hand text them.
Yeah, I got
you have to.
In Pro, it's like, yeah, it's two hand. There's no.
So I wonder if that's by design, because if you need two hands to text, that means you can't text and drive, because to text and drive, you really don't, you have to have one hand because the other hand has to be on the wheel.
Correct.
So maybe that's brilliant.
Maybe in a way it is. Maybe that's the whole plan behind it. I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe they're working with the highway administration saying, hey, we got to find a way to do this. But in the meantime,
Brad's conspiracy theory right here.
Right here. But in the meantime, while we're doing that, we're letting people on their little monitors they have there put TVs in them.
Oh, yeah.
They can watch the football games while driving down the highway.
Driving down the highway.
Yeah.
Well, with heads-up display now, maybe that might work.
I don't know.
It's still dangerous. Don't do it.
Bad idea.
Yeah, bad idea. But yeah, I actually had a couple of friends, parents that they're like, okay, they swear up and down their first kid's car will be a stick. I'm like, well, that's good. Do you make sure they know? No. If you're driving a stick, you cannot text and drive.
That's genius.
You're busy. One hand on the steering wheel, one hand on the shifter. And I'm like, oh, what a great idea.
Yeah. Never thought of that.
No, but from a public safety perspective and making sure the kids don't text and drive, that's brilliant.
I'd have a hard time teaching my kid how to drive. I never drove stick.
You never drove a stick?
I never drove stick, but I did ride my motorcycle, so I do understand the process and the theory.
Okay.
But I don't.
You understand the clutch.
I do. I understand all that. But I still just, I don't know. I couldn't do it.
Really?
I couldn't teach him how to do it. I'd have to have my dad teach him.
Okay, so, and I'm going to mess with your brain right now because do you remember 3 on the Tree?
I remember hearing about it.
That's what I learned to drive on. So it's clutch, but instead of a stick shift, you had the gears in the column. So you had the stick coming out of the column and you shifted, and it's like first, second, third, 4, reverse. Yeah. It's like, oh.
I do remember hearing that.
Yeah. It's like, it's one of those things that's kind of like, oh, maybe cassettes that kids nowadays, you'd go, huh. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. I'd love nothing more. I want to get a wall phone. We were actually in Best Buy the other day, and we went through the phone aisle, and it had the phones that you put on the wall, and my kid goes, what are those?
Really?
Dead serious. I'm like, we haven't had a landline.
Actually, as a parent, put in a payphone. That'll screw with your kids, and it'll keep them off the phone.
Yes, for sure.
And we're back. Don't miss a minute of the Tech Ranch as we explore the cutting edge of tech with Marlo and Steve. For more exclusive content, visit thetechranch.com.
You're tuned to the Tech Ranch. Steve Bakken along with Brad Feldman sitting in for Marlo today. And Brad, we're talking about the new iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. Of course, Apple Day came out and new toys. I want to talk a little bit about the phone itself, because some of the changes are the bigger buttons, the bigger phone, which I could see some upside now too, and the vertically aligned camera module as opposed to a diagonal. Now, you do a lot of work with social media and video content. Of course, you work for Bismarck Bobcats junior hockey team here locally, and you're about content. So you're constantly doing stuff on the fly.
Yep.
So what does that mean to you in a work scenario?
Well, the one thing for me is when it talks about how it's an easy access to your phone, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to try to get this new phone because, number one, when I'm sitting there and hockey's a fast-paced game. So when I see something and I need to get it real quick and I have to try to open my phone, find the camera, if there's a one-button solution to that, I'm going to love that.
Well, and that's
a selling feature for me and any content person.
Well, and that's one of the changes too. The Apple's action button, which came out on the i15 and the 15 Pro or the 15 Pro, that replaces the mute switch, but you can toggle that to almost anything. So it's programmable. You can set it up to do, hey, that one button and hey, my camera's open. Because my wife struggles with that all the time. I'm like, oh, look at how cute the puppies are. And we'll take a picture of it. And she'll sit there and fumble with her phone and she's got the 15 Pro. Apparently, she doesn't have anybody to show her how to use it. So
you need to convert, Steve.
No, I'm not doing it.
Gotta convert.
No, I just can't. So anyway, the Apple Action button, you can utilize it for that customizable camera. You know, that one open for the camera, flashlight, all kinds of things. So getting back to the camera side, as an Apple user now, do you see any differences from when you switched over from the Android platform? And which phone did you have before?
I had the Galaxy Note 8.
Okay. So when you switched over and then went to the dark side of Apple, and did you notice any differences in your picture taking or your video content?
Picture taking a little bit. I thought I did think the Galaxy was a little bit better. I will say that. But as far as the video, the Apple was way better. And I was able to change the different settings easily on the fly because it was just in the top part of the camera, top right part. I could change the frames per second really easily. I could change like the resolution, things like that, to go to 4K instead of 1080. It was really nice. Like I could, for like our introductions, right? For the Bobcats, we have the Flame Machines players come out. Instead of getting it in the 4K or instead of getting the 1080, I wanted it in 4K because when you post that on social media, it's so dynamic.
Pops a little bit.
Pops. It just pops. It makes people go, wow, I want to be there. So different scenarios like game action, I don't want 4K because it's just too fast and the frames per second and everything. So I like to adjust it depending on what I'm doing. And it was easy to do because it was right there on the top right.
So one of the things I've noticed with mine is my Samsung is the pictures are better than, because my wife's got a brand new phone. I've got a brand new phone and apples and oranges. And my pictures are way better than hers. Yep. My photos are unbelievable. The video's good, but when you go to share video, everything's too big.
Yes.
It's cumbersome to try to navigate with my Android platform while sharing or posting to social media or texting a video of something. Mm-hmm. The files are just too large. And there's it's cumbersome to try to navigate around that. And what I'm seeing with Apple is it's not.
Yeah, it's so much easier. And the one thing I will say,
and you post to social media a lot.
I post every day to social media, every day. And the thing I'll say, if you're sending a video from Android to an Apple, good luck. It never comes out right. I dealt with that with my wife all the time. I'd take pictures of our kids at hockey tournaments or videos of our kids at hockey tournaments, things like that.
Who's the blob?
Yeah, she's like, what am I looking at? I'm like, I'll show you when we get home. Like, it never worked. They got to come up with a solution for that. But, Apple's not going to want to do that because they're so proprietary. They want all their stuff.
Well, they're not going to share
themselves. Absolutely not.
Look how long Okay, so here's a valid question for you. Would you have switched over if Apple hadn't have changed to the C, the USB-C?
Honestly, the charging cord doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't.
See, I've talked to a lot of people that, now I'm good. Because having to buy every time you get a new phone, and there's people out there that get a new phone every year, and it seems like every time you get a new phone, you had to get a new charging cord because they kept changing the port. And that's one of the things that has, when you talk about Apple being proprietary, they kind of took that off the table because some legislation over in Europe was like, oh, no, this is dumb. And we need to have a universal blah, blah, blah. And I can see nothing but positives coming out of that. And I'm not usually one for overregulation or passing arbitrary laws, but that was something that I think was incredibly beneficial and my wife switching over to her new phone, her 15 Pro, I'm like, you're going to like this because she would always go, do you have a charger for me? Do you have a charger? Or she'd leave her card. I'm like, you can charge your phone from your computer cord, my tablet cord, my computer cord, my phone charging cord, her phone, because she always doesn't have anything. And we travel, and I would always have these different, I was kind of the guy, I would always have the other cords for her. It's like, she's like, oh, I love my charger. Oh, I need the, because she'd have the watch and the phone. And I'm like, now it's all C. It's USB-C. And wow, do you know how much crap I got out of my travel bag?
Exactly.
Because I got one cord.
Yeah.
I don't even bring my phone charger anymore. It's like I have my computer charger or my tablet charger because I always travel with one of them. And I can charge everything with that, including all my wife's stuff, which makes my life so much simpler.
Yeah, it'd be so nice if both companies just had the same cord.
Yeah. And now that they do, it's great. But I'm wondering if there can be some other synergies when it comes to proprietary information. It's like, whatever the platform, make things better for the user, easier for the user.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
Steve Bakken and Brad Feldman sitting in for Marlo today on the Tech Ranch. And we're talking about, so Brad, in your workspace, he works for the minor league hockey team in Bismarck and Mandan and the Bismarck Bobcats. And you use social media and a lot of video content. Also new to the iPhone 16 models is a camera control button. Now, you've got a 15 Pro, right?
I got a 15 Pro Max, yep.
You might have to upgrade here because we were talking about the ease of access, and you're trying to drag things and grab things on the fly real quick because hockey's a fast sport, and you're trying to get that video content out there for all the fans. Well, this is a kind of a cool thing. Much like the shutter button on a full-size camera, it reacts to different levels of pressure. A light press will track focus on the iPhone 16 Pro models, or you can slide your finger to swipe through zoom levels. That would be very convenient. A harder press will snap a photo. A longer press will take a video. That is, so somebody who's actually using their phone for work or in a more professional setting, that is ease of use and click, click, click. You're not going through the buttons. You're just, everything's right there. So you're just holding your phone, basically. And we're seeing this more and more, whether it's high school athletics and things getting posted to YouTube channels. People aren't going out and buying the big, expensive professional broadcast equipment to air something. If you guys are doing it, there's been people around videoing NFL games. The Timberwolves recently did not very long ago because they worked out a deal. They were highlighting the Apple phone, new one from several years ago. And that was actually a television broadcast. I mean, where phones have come, it is incredible.
It is. You know, I'll just talk about us at the Bobcats. I mean, we use strict iPhones, and they're older iPhones that we use to connect directly to our video board. That we put fans on there, all our intermission game stuff, our introductions we'll have on the iPhones with someone right on the ice that goes over our NATV plus over the video board. I mean, you can't tell the quality difference. And I'll say our Rover cameras, they are older iPhones. But now if we gave them these brand new nice iPhones, I'd love to see what it would look like. I mean, it would just be so crystal clear. It'd be awesome. And then you could just change the settings like I talked earlier about, put it in 4K. That'd be amazing. Yeah, and I mean, and then you got the Timberwolves. Yeah, they did a whole NBA game. A whole NBA game with iPhones. Like, you look at how far it's come. And now I just found this Juan Reyes, and I showed you this. They shot an entire NFL game on an iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Chargers-Raiders game, using only an iPhone. If without that headline, if you watch this, you would never know.
You'd never know.
You never know. The quality of the phones in our pockets is so good nowadays that you don't need to go spend the thousands of dollars on a nice professional
broadcast quality camera. You just don't. Okay, so you mentioned you guys are streaming a lot of your video content for your video boards and your fan cameras. At what point, because you guys have a new digital video board too, is there a constraint from, well, we don't have to get the new phone because the video board's only going to be so good unless you're constantly upgrading that technology as well?
Correct. Yeah. The phones we have, I mean, I'll bet you they're 6-8 years old. They're perfect. There's no need really to upgrade them because it depends on the quality of your video board, right? The resolution.
And even the brand new ones with good resolution, there's some constraints. I mean, you're only going to get so good with those.
Exactly. And the thing is, with those video boards, the farther you're away from them, the better you are.
Right. The better they look.
Better it looks. So there's no need to sit there and go get a bunch of 4K camera equipment or phones or whatever to do that. But for over social media, I will take 4K video all day long.
Well, now
in certain aspects.
Social media is different though, because now you've got somebody that's probably looking at the social media on their phone as well.
Yep.
And when you're looking at the social media, you're going, okay, that was a really crappy, grainy photo.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good.
Nope.
Or, they shot this with a really good phone, and yeah, it's good content.
That's cool stuff.
But the broadcast quality is there. That's the crazy part to me, is the ability to go, I don't know if I'm watching a production from a professional studio or a professional, for sports, a network, or somebody's just shooting that video off their phone.
Right.
It's gotten that good.
I'll tell you what, I go back to my TV days, right? Lugging around 20, 30-pound cameras, putting those on your shoulder to shoot a football game or whatever you had to do, basketball game, whatever it was. Man, I wish I was in there now with...
They don't do that anymore.
No. They got these small cameras. I actually used one a couple years ago to help out.
Well, even that little thing where the camera's so light and they have the stick thing that kind of steadies it.
The gimbal.
Yeah, the gimbal that they hold out, and it's like, it doesn't weigh anything. The camera's so small. But if you watch local news, you know how many of those reporters are using video footage from their iPhone?
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
And you know me, in my political space, I wind up doing a lot of television interviews. Yep. Most of the time, unless I go to a studio or unless they're training in a new reporter, it'll be on a phone.
Yep. And now you can go get the wireless lavalier mics.
Yeah.
For $100.
Yeah.
And you get 2 of them. They connect right to your phone. Like, you don't need to have all the nice expensive equipment. No.
You don't need to have all the expensive equipment.
Right.
It's still nice. And that's the point.
Yes.
The quality of the lower end, what used to be lower end, it's not lower end anymore.
Mm-mm.
No, it's high quality.
Yeah, it is high quality. You spend a couple $100 on those nice wireless mics. You're doing professional stuff just like you're seeing on all the TV stations.
Well, pre-orders are going on right now for the iPhone 16, the iPhone 16 $799, the iPhone 16 Plus $899, iPhone 16 Pro $999, and the iPhone 16 Pro Max at $1199. So
go big or go home.
And they all are on sale soon. So get your pre-orders in now. Can go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
So are you upgrading?
I will be, yes.
Really?
I'm going to be up for an upgrade, and my phone's broken in the back, so it's time for a new one.
You broke it on purpose so you could get a new phone.
No, I don't know how I broke it. That's the worst part.
So I'm guessing an iPhone 16 Pro Max is probably on your bucket list.
Absolutely.
All right. Brad Feldman from the Bismarck Bobcats. This is the Tech Ranch.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Chris joining us on the Tech Ranch. And Chris, copyright infringement is usually something that the corporate world deals with more frequently than people understand. But the mechanism by which somebody infringes on a copyright, you've stumbled across an interesting little case.
Yeah. So there's this issue, and I think we talked about it a little bit last week, about this software as a service where we're just renting software now.
Right.
And, the article I saw was it's talking about
just because you purchase it doesn't mean you own it.
Correct. And really what it's come down to is that rather than companies being able to use tools, buy tools and use them to manufacture product, whether it's electronic apps or a widget, now they're having to rent those tools from someone else. And so that eats into profits, and that gets into this whole debate over feudalism and capitalism and blah, 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 blah. But
well, and down the road, it could have some ramifications on if you're using something that's rented, then who owns what you're creating as well?
Right. So like there was this one case where there's a company called Unity that manufactures a software that video game creators use to make video games. And they basically said, well, if you use our software to make your video games, we want a cut of your profits. It's like, you didn't make my video game. I just bought your tool and I'm using it. Well, no, that's our copyrighted product. So you're using our stuff to make your stuff so we get the money.
It's kind of like taxes. It's
like
the government didn't put in the work. Why should they get a cut?
Right. So there was a case where 2002, the video game company called Blizzard sued a bunch of hobbyists for creating a secondary game server they could play on, and basically said, you're violating our copyright. But the reason the hobbyists created it was because the server that Blizzard wanted everybody to use was buggy. But the other side was it too, is that it also had anti-cheating codes. Well, these guys wanted to cheat, so they created their own thing. Well, they claimed it was piracy.
Try to remember if I remember the pattern for Ms. Pac-Man.
Yeah. So it says
it's always a hack.
Mm-hmm. So rather than doing it after piracy, they basically said, you violated our copyright because you circumvented the access of controls of copyrighted works. You used debuggers to examine our software that you already paid for. You ran it on your own computers, and you tried to make your own game server. Well, this is kind of evolved into this argument here is Walmart. Let's say that they had a policy that you could only shelve the books you bought at Walmart on shelves you bought at Walmart. Or they were going to pay
no sense.
Or they were going to pay you you had to rent the space on the shelf based on how wide your books were or something like that.
So the other side of that though too is, with copyrights, okay, you've got something that's copyrighted. There's wiggle room for improving a copyrighted product. And I would think that would fall under that because they made some major improvements on that server.
Right. There's this thing about derivative works, but then you have to look at, was it transformative? And that's how the courts kind of look at whether or not you violated somebody's copyright.
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome to September 14th on the National Day calendar. Today, we're sinking our teeth into a delicious, hearty sandwich and giving some well-deserved recognition to parents.
Picture this, a long roll stuffed with layers of meat, cheeses, vegetables, and condiments, all coming together in a symphony of flavors. The hoagie, also known as a sub or a hero in different parts of the country, is a true American classic. Originating in Philadelphia, this sandwich has been a favorite for decades, perfect for lunch, dinner, or anytime you crave something substantial. So head to your favorite deli or make your own ultimate sandwich masterpiece because today it's National Eat a Hoagie Day.
Okay.
Didn't need any convincing, huh? You're just all in?
You know me and sandwiches. I love
That's
them.
That's your jam.
Oh my goodness. I could have a sandwich for every meal. So how about you?
I already brought one. It's in the fridge.
Are you sure?
Marlo!
My sandwich! My sandwich!
Parenting is a 24/7 job that comes with its own set of challenges and rewards. Between juggling work, household chores, and caring for children, parents often have little time for themselves. That's why today is dedicated to giving them a break. Whether it's a few hours of peace, a spa day, or simply time to pursue a hobby, let's show appreciation for all they do. Take over some responsibilities or offer them a well-deserved rest because today is National Parents' Day Off.
So since I'm taking the day off, I'm actually leaving right after this to have a spa day.
Nice. Do I need to come over?
That would be great. I was going to ask, but I figured since you ate my sandwich, you were kind of obligated. So
I feel a little obligated now, actually. So yeah, your daughter and I will go out and probably enjoy another hoagie.
Wow. You just can't get enough of them, huh, Marlo?
Nah, nope.
I'm LaToya Johnson.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
And join us for all of our adventures on Facebook and Instagram at Destination Celebration Show. Until next time, keep celebrating.
Supertalk 1270.
This is Outdoor Issues with Neil Roberts and North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist Greg KLXX.
Greg, a lot of seasons are kicking off and some are underway. The most prized by many for upland game is the pheasant. How are things looking?
Things are looking good for pheasant, but I got to rewind just a little bit. We kicked off that deer opener right at Labor Day weekend with that archery season, and I've seen a lot of great pictures of hunters that have harvested that coveted velvet buck out there. So congratulations to those folks. Our early Canada goose season has been underway for a while, but right now we're starting to look forward. That upland game season is upon us, and probably the main thing is with pheasants. I mean, that's our bread and butter in North Dakota. That's what everyone loves to chase. And they are actually up 25% from last year. So we're seeing more chicks on the ground. And for those of us that drive up and down the roads, or you folks out there making circles with the combine, you probably notice that too. So our pheasant season looks to be very good. So we do survey that both in the spring with the crowing counts and then in the fall when those chicks actually hit the ground.
All right, good stuff, Greg. And yeah, hearing there's a good hatch in a lot of places. Hey, more on Upland Game when we come back.
It's the largest Scandinavian festival in North America. The Norse Kustfest in Minot is upon us. It kicks off Wednesday, September 25th and runs through Saturday the 28th. Top acts include the Gaelic Storm and the Texas Tenors Wednesday afternoon and the Church of Cash Wednesday night. Fab Four Tribute Band Thursday afternoon and Trace Atkins Thursday night. Jay Leno Friday afternoon, followed by Ryan Bingham Friday night and Garrison Keeler on Saturday. That's the Norse Kustfest in Minot. Don't miss it.
Fort Myers Beach is back. Discover the brand new Margaritaville Beach Resort, Fort Myers Beach. Escape to our beachfront paradise with the perfect blend of adventure and relaxation. Taste the tropics at our 6-island-inspired bars and restaurants. Dive into Fins Up Beach Club, the action-packed aquatic playground featuring a lagoon-style pool. Unwind in the laid-back luxury of your oceanfront room. Indulge yourself at St. Somewhere Spa. Margaritaville, Fort Myers Beach, the perfect escape. Check us out at margaritavilleresorts.com.
Talking upland game today on Outdoor Issues. And Greg, we talked pheasants earlier, but partridge and grouse are not to be overlooked. The season's upon us. How's the outlook?
You know, that's right. For a lot of us upland game hunters, sharptails or sharpies, they were down just a little bit this year. We counted in our survey 23 per square mile. The partridge were down just a hair too, but looks to be another great season. Make sure and put another bowl of dog food in your upland game hunting dog's bowl, and we're going to have a great season.
That's what Coco says. All right, good stuff, Greg. And hey, that's a wrap on this report. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Outdoor Issues, brought to you in part by the Norse Kustfest, by the Margaritaville Resort on Fort Myers Beach, and enjoy a home-cooked meal at Homesteaders in Minot.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. This week, federal mediators are set to meet with representatives from Boeing and from the Machinists Union in an effort to end the strike of more than 30,000 union employees. Hawaii officials have released the latest phase of their report into last year's Maui wildfire that killed more than 100 people.
Almost 80% of the fatalities in last year's fire came in central Lahaina. Some of those victims were stuck in traffic jams. The infrastructure played a role, according to Fire Safety Research Institute program manager Derek Alconis.
And we know the grass was involved, and then the fire got moving into the built environment.
The report also found no evidence that officials prepared for the fire. The state attorney general's office said criminal charges are unlikely. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And funeral services today in Georgia for two of the victims of the shooting at Appalachia High School this month. This is ABC News. President Biden is expected to meet next week with Ukraine's president, who is pushing for approval to launch a long-range missile barrage into Russia using NATO weapons. ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell has the latest from the region.
President Biden appearing to dismiss these new threats made by Russian leader Vladimir Putin over the war here in Ukraine. Meeting with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the two leaders discussed a request by Ukraine to lift restrictions on its use of these missiles that are provided by the West. But Vladimir Putin has issued this stern warning that if the decision to lift restrictions is really taken, it'll mean that America, Europe and other NATO countries are conducting direct war with Russia. Asked what he thought about Putin's threat, though, President Biden said simply, I don't think much about Vladimir Putin.
All this as the U.S. military now says Russian military aircraft were detected and tracked in Alaska yesterday, marking the second detection of the week. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Hey you, I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber, more laxatives, more of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. Sunshine today, a high near 81. A little breezy out of the south. For tonight, chance of showers and storms, then mostly clear overnight, a low of 59. Sunny mid-80s for Sunday. Monday, showers and storms with a high near 82. Breezy Monday night into Tuesday. If you're looking for a new place to live, stay, work, or play, check out Worthington, Minnesota. It's worth a look. Right now, it's 74.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. ESPN's Adam Schefter says Niners running back Christian McCaffrey's going on injured reserve. Calf soreness, Achilles tendonitis, out at least another 4 games. Right now, college football third quarter scores. Alabama rolling at Wisconsin, 28-3. Jalen Milroe, 2 touchdown passes and a TD run. And Badgers quarterback Tyler Van Dyke leaving with an apparent leg injury on the opening drive. Oklahoma State with a 28-0 bulge at Tulsa. Alex Bowman 4 TD passes. South Carolina surprising LSU 24-16. Quarterback Lenora Sellers 2 touchdown runs. Michigan 21-3 over Arkansas State. Khalil Mullings 2 TD runs. Memphis a 13-3 lead at Florida State. Second quarter Boston College tied at 14 in Missouri. Thomas Castellanos 2 touchdown passes for the Eagles. WNBA last night. Aces win at Indiana. But Caitlin Clark, 9 assists, breaking Alyssa Thompson's league season record of 321 set last year's. The rookie's great season continues.
We're not even to the playoffs yet. I think that's what's so fun about it is you're just going to continue to see, records be taken down, but also I think really good basketball. And that's why it's been so fun to watch. That's why the fans have been showing up. The viewership has been, absolutely crushed this year.
Mariners nipped the Rangers last night. First start in well over a year after Tommy John surgery. Texas's Jacob deGrom, 3+ shutout innings, allows 4 hits with 4 Ks.
That's just another day.
It was awesome. You, like I said, you spend that much time away from the game. You go through that whole process of building back up, and to get back on a major league mound was very nice.
Meanwhile, the Yankees edging the Red Sox last night on Aaron Judge's deciding grand slam. His 52nd homer, breaking a 16-game homerless drought. Right now, American top 5. Red Sox leading those Yankees 3-1. Joey Waller, ABC Sports.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Need cash help but have bad or no credit? Then you need to go to FastLoansAI.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 regardless of your credit score. FastLoansAI.com is one of the largest lender networks. Their advanced technology can help anyone get up to $10,000. Best part? Money can be in your bank account as fast as the same day. When you need fast cash, go to FastLoansAI.com. That's FastLoansAI.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Your destination for travel news and ideas. RM World Travel. Sunday morning, starting at 5 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
Brad Feldman sitting in for Marlo Anderson on the Tech Ranch, and we just had Apple Days, and Brad is a recent convert over to Apple from the, Google and Android platforms, and we're talking about all the toys that are coming out with Apple Day, the new iPhone 16, of course, but you and I were talking about toys, and you like the toys. You have an Apple Watch, right?
Yep, I do.
So do you know that this is the 10th anniversary of Apple Watch this year?
No.
It is. 10th.
Crazy.
It's hard to think that it's been around for 10 years now. And the technology is just where it was then to where it is now. Holy crap, is that a different world?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the things you can do right off your wrist, and it's your phone. Now, my problem is it's like, I can't see all that, and my fingers are too big. But my wife's got one, and just she's on her phone all the time through her watch.
Yeah. I've taken a few phone calls through my watch.
Yeah, she does that all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when she can't find her phone. Actually, she uses her watch a lot to find her phone.
Oh, there you go.
So that
Whatever
works
works.
out. But this is the 10th anniversary of the original Apple Watch. And in celebration of this landmark event, Apple has redesigned the newest addition to the lineup, the Watch Series 10. It's much lighter and thinner than its predecessor, the Series 9. It also has the biggest display ever on an Apple Watch with 30% more screen area. So that would help somebody like me. The screen's much larger, easier to read, bigger display. The Ultra Series is actually huge. The new display has edges that are more rounded and a little bit wider angle OLED displays, so it can be seen better when you're not looking straight at the screen. Because how often do you look straight at the screen? I mean, even if you tip your wrist to look at your watch, you're probably at a little bit of an angle, right?
Yeah, usually.
So the new watch is available in a positively, incredibly sleek black version. And I've seen pictures. Have you seen the pictures of it?
I have, yes.
It's like, I'm not a digital watch guy, not the device, but it looks cool. I'll give it that for an Apple product.
For an Apple product. I'm telling you, Steve, you got to get on board.
Well, it's been polished with silicone, and they got nanoparticles in there, and it's kind of space agey looking, and so it's a little reflective. It's kind of cool. I think it's going to be a big seller for them, and that's saying a lot because Apple Watches being kind of the benchmark of the watch side of things, because there's the Samsung Watch and the Google Watch but it's the Apple Watch. It really is. I mean,
that was the first.
Well, yeah, and
it probably wasn't the first, but it was the first one that got most people involved in.
That blew it up.
Yep.
So so here's some other cool features here. So the speaker system has been redesigned.
Boy.
Okay, so you say you use your few phone calls. And my wife, when she does hers, she's like, huh? What?
Yeah.
And she's got mom hearing. She can hear everything.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that audio kind of, because if there's any ambient noise around, I can't hear or watch. So there's a more efficient charging coil as well. So besides that, because speakers eat up a lot of power.
Yes.
So that's why you kind of constrained on having good speakers. It's kind of like good video. The better it is, the longer it takes to charge, the less of a runtime that you have. So with the new speakers and the increase in the charging coil that helps a watch charge up to 80% battery in 30 minutes. They haven't come out and said what the battery life is yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit longer. So for an example, you can play podcasts directly through the Apple Watch's speakers now, and it really doesn't run down the watch that much. Or if you do, it charges faster. So I don't know if I'd be watching podcasts, but you could listen to a podcast that way, right?
Yeah, you could listen to a podcast that way. But my question to that is, like, I could see listening to music through your speaker on your watch, but a podcast, I would think that you'd want to have AirPods in for that.
You would think.
I mean,
especially the noise canceling kind.
Exactly. I don't think I'd put a podcast through my watch, but music for sure. If I'm working out in the yard or doing stuff like that, absolutely, I'd do it through my watch, but not a podcast.
Okay, so one of the things that the Apple Watches do is there's kind of a health component because, you know, one of the first ones that kind of blew up, Fitbit, of course, right?
Yep.
You know, so everybody knows about Fitbit. And the digital watches have been a little behind from the fitness tracker perspective because they're like, well, that somebody else does that. We're not going to get in there. You can get the apps for that and stuff. But the new Apple Watch this year, the standout health feature coming to Watch OS is sleep apnea detection. It's going to follow your breathing, monitor your heart. The watch has got an accelerometer. So it's all expected that Apple would add blood pressure tracking to the watches this year. The company did not do this. That was one of the rumors that was going around, but the decision was likely related to recent legal action that forced Apple to remove blood oxygen sensing from the new watches earlier this year after there was a patent dispute. But that's how far they've come. You can monitor your blood oxygen. So if you ever go to the doctor or the hospital, they'll put that little clippy thing on. Yep. You can do that on your phone now.
You know what I always question with that, though?
They're not doing it right now, but they could do it on their phone.
But my question is, how accurate is that information? That's what I love the fact that it's going to be a possibility, but how accurate are we talking?
How accurate is the one they put on your finger?
Well,
so if you put the same sensor in,
yep,
then you're going to have the same accuracy.
Same information.
So,
see, and I'll be honest, like right now, I am on kind of a health kick. I know it doesn't look like it, but I am on a health kick. And I've started wearing my watch again because I stopped for a while. I want to start tracking my sleep because that is one of the.
That's a big thing for a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people don't know they have sleep apnea.
Right.
Okay.
And I feel like I get up and move a lot during the day, but I'm finding out the last couple of days that I've been stuck to my desk a lot.
How many steps do you take?
And not very many the last couple of days. I'm not going to say what numbers they were, but I'm kind of embarrassed by it.
Well, you should, do I need to have a conversation with the coach? It's like, hey, when you get the players out running the stairs.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm not rocking.
Brad?
I'm too old.
Too old.
I'm too old for that.
Okay, so one of the other cool things, and we're going to get into this next, is Apple Intelligence.
Yeah.
The AI is also available on the watch, and we'll cover that when we come back because that component of AI, that's something new for the watch. That's not been out. It's on the phones, but it's something new, and we'll talk about that coming up next on the Tech Ranch.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
We're back talking to Brad Feldman, recent convert from the cool Android platform over to the, I guess that's getting kind of cool, Apple platform.
You're gonna convert.
No, I'm not. I can't do it. Okay, so we're talking about Apple Day. And we talked about the phone. We talked about the watch now. And one of the cool things in the watch is Apple Intelligence is available on the watch. Now, a lot of that's due to the updates to the health app that came out with the Watch OS 11 earlier this year. So that was kind of setting the table for the new watch to come out, because you got to have, it's kind of a chicken and the egg. It's like, okay, is it in the platform or is it in the device? And you have to have the platform for the device. Don't do it the other way around, because that's one of the complaints a lot of people have had is, well, it's going to do this. It's good, with the phone, and it's going to do this. It's good. Well, it can't do it all right now, but it's coming with upgrades, but this is the platform. So when I say there's kind of the chicken and the egg, it's like, and that's an issue for companies. Do you roll the device out first, knowing that as you add to the platform, your operating system, that those features are going to come online, or do you make sure that those features are there? It's a user preference, but you're kind of telling people to buy something on faith a little bit.
Right.
So,
or it's also frustrating when they say that it's going to do something
and it doesn't.
And it's like, okay, it does this, but you have to spend another $20 a month or $15 a month.
Right. No, that's more of a bait and switch. And I think Apple's gotten past that a little bit. Yeah. Not all companies have, but I think Apple has. So they've rolled this out. And like I said, that's one of the complaints, that you're promising that it's going to be able to do this, and they'll get there. It's just a question of when. But Apple Intelligence is available on the watch, and that was with that Watch OS 11 from earlier this year. So I'm curious to see what's going to wind up being the full functionality of the watch, because with that intelligence piece, what are the limitations? Well, if you think about it, just let your mind wander, and I could probably do that.
Doesn't it kind of scare you, though, how much AI is going to affect our lives and what it can actually do?
Yeah.
5 years down the road, where it's going to get, how far it's gone in 2 years.
I watch Terminator movies.
Oh, man.
Skynet's coming. The irony in that is, with all the data centers we've got in North Dakota now, because you're in North Dakota like I am, and I don't ever have a recollection that Skynet would start in North Dakota.
Right. I'm excited to see where it takes us and how it helps us in our daily lives, but it terrifies me what AI is going to be able to do. It actually does. It terrifies me.
Well, think about, now that you've got the artificial intelligence into the watch.
Yep.
So, which is connected to your phone. Now, they haven't said whether or not there's going to be a component of the AI that's autonomous to the phone itself, or if it does have to connect, but there's pieces.
Yep.
But right now it's layered. So you've got the intelligence in the phone paired with the intelligence on your wrist. There's a lot of possibilities, Brad.
Yeah. Here's just some of the things that they're talking about. Smart stacking. Widgets show up automatically based on time, location, and more. Like giving you a heads up if rain is coming.
Yeah, that's the phone component with the watch component with tapping into databases, anticipating that what you're doing according to your activity. It's like, okay, it knows you're on a hike and you better hurry up and get back to your vehicle because it's going to rain here soon.
Yep, it's going to rain.
And it'll tell you that.
Yep.
Oh, you got 19 minutes, it's going to start raining.
Yep.
So the ability to anticipate what you're going to need for information, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
It's like, but some things maybe I don't want to know. It's kind of like the baby reveal. Do you really want to know, or do you just wait?
I don't. Yeah. I'd rather wait.
You just wait, right?
As one of my friends told me, there's very few surprises in life, and let the baby be one of them. But on top of that, when you think about the phone and AI and what it can do and what it can track, do you find it funny when all of a sudden you have a date, you have a weekly routine? Like every Sunday we go to my parents for supper, right? It's just a family tradition. It will be like 2:00 and I'll look at my phone, and in the top left corner it'll be like approximately 25 minutes to this address. And I'm like, tracks you so closely. It knows that every Sunday at this time, you leave to go to this place.
And it'll know traffic patterns. So, you might have to leave 5 minutes earlier today because there's a little bit of a traffic kerfuffle.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just scary stuff.
It knows things.
It knows. It's no matter what, it's watching you. It's watching you.
Well, anytime you have a device on, it's watching you. And I'm a firm believer of that. I don't think there's a way to shut any of that off nowadays.
No.
Because somebody's always going to be, or something is always going to have an eye on you. So it'll be interesting to what comes out. But, I forgot to mention one of the cool things. They got a whole new slew of water-related fitness features. So with kind of the maritime theme stuff that you can just change the face on your watch all the time, of course. But if you spontaneously decide to go kayaking, there's going to be a kayaking theme, or sailing, or jet skiing, or hopping in your pontoon and heading out on the river. Those are all the watch faces. You get choices. It's like kind of cool. So the Watch Ultra 2 didn't get any big updates, but it did get a new black finish with Milanese loop design specifically for water sports. So it's weird. Apple's got this water thing going on right now, but we'll see where that takes them. The Series 10 is available for pre-order at $399. Shipping date coming up as well, but pre-orders going on right now. The Refresh Watch Ultra 2 also available for pre-order at $799. And if you think about it, the watch is more expensive than some of the phones.
It is, yeah. But think about what it can do. Like if you're an exercise nut, man, you have to have one.
Well, the question I've got though is, if the watch is expensive as some of the phones, at what point is the watch just autonomous? Because instead of buying the phone, you're just buying that upgraded watch that has all the functions, all the features of the phone, but without the phone. So if the price point's moving up, that kind of tells me that the phone itself or the watch itself is going to be autonomous.
We're getting there.
You're listening to The Tech Ranch, where technology comes alive. Let's dive back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve. And don't forget to check out thetechranch.com for more.
Steve Bakken along with Brad Feldman from Bismarck Bobcats, our local junior hockey team. And we're talking about technology. He's a recent convert over to the Apple platform. And Apple Day just was here. So we're talking about all the cool toys and the cool stuff with Apple. So one of the other ones is AirPods. And you're an AirPod user, right?
I am an AirPod user.
Okay.
Just bought new ones.
Well, you should have waited.
I should have waited.
You should have waited. Apple has just added a few new options for its AirPods. For the first time, Apple has made active noise canceling available in the regular AirPods. Now, do you have the regular ones or the upgraded ones?
I have the Pros.
Okay, so you've already got the noise canceling feature. So that is now available in just the regular ones. You don't have to go to the Pros for those, but of course, a little more expensive version than the base model. The base model's still there.
Yeah.
But with everything, new toys, new money. Yeah, that's the way it works. So there are new AirPods 4 that cost $129 without active noise canceling, and a version of AirPods 4 that cost $179 that do have the active noise canceling. So now that you've gone to the noise canceling world, could you ever go back?
No.
Yeah.
There's no way I could go back.
Uh-huh.
It is so nice because there's times when there's conversations happening and you don't want any part of it. You just throw those on and you don't hear a thing.
That's a funny thing, though. So you see somebody wearing their AirPods walking down the street and you don't say anything to them. And I'm one of those, I always say hi to people if I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And nothing. Okay. So you kind of get out of the habit of saying hi to people if they're wearing their AirPods or whatever headphone system they may have. We're talking AirPods today and Apple with Apple Day. But one of the things in the future is there's a hearing aid component that is supposed to be coming with the AirPods. So if somebody is walking down the street and they have their AirPods in, are they listening to something or on their phone, or can they hear you because that's what they're wearing them for?
Exactly. You know,
you won't know.
You'll never know. So you just have to try to, like you said, just wave at them, say hi, and see what they do.
Maybe Apple can get them. It's like, okay, if they're in hearing aid mode, they turn a different color or something.
There you go. Put a light on the side of it. Kind of like in the old TV days with the old light on the front of the camera.
So the personal spatial audio is also coming to AirPods 4, along with the ability to interact with Siri with gestures, like nodding your head to accept a call. How cool would that be?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because there's times it'll come across mine right now and it'll say, this person's calling, do you want to answer it? And I'm like, yes, and it doesn't answer.
Well, that's part of the, okay, I'm in a noisy scenario, or, even road noise driving. If you're using your AirPods while you're in your vehicle, it's like, okay, Siri doesn't always connect with that all the time. So the ability to go, yep, I'm shaking my head. Now, I wonder if it confuses shaking your head yes versus shaking your head no.
I don't know.
I don't want to answer that call.
I don't want that call. No, don't.
No, I don't need my Google listing upgraded.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks.
I don't care if my vehicle warranty is worn out.
Some of my vehicle.
Yeah, well, granted. So the ability to just, with the gestures, nod your head and accept a call. There's also a new charging case that gives you a total battery life of, how long does yours last now?
I honestly don't know, but I can have them in all day.
Okay. Well, the new battery life, 30 hours, and can be charged with either the USB-C or, if you have the ANC version, wireless charging. So wireless charging, you just set them down for a few minutes or throw in the...
Kind of like that.
Yeah. That's
that.
Yeah. How convenient is that? Anyway, both of those variants of the new AirPods 4 are available for pre-order now. And of course, sale day coming up very soon. But that's kind of cool. And like I said, one of the things they're looking into the future with the AirPods is the ability to use them as hearing aids.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. It's a nice concept for sure. But the one thing that scares me is I've seen the videos and I've seen the stories where you can hear conversations across the room. That's concerning.
Yeah, but
wouldn't
that be cool? Yeah, because it gives you a little bit of that Ethan Hunt or James Bond thing going on. And
I'll say Mitch Rapp because I love that series.
You could be a spy.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun, but like...
Maybe Spies Like Us.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like...
That was a great movie, by the way.
If it's a conversation that I'm having between me and my wife, I really don't want someone across the room listening to it, but...
Oh, could you see that you're in a restaurant and you're having a quiet dinner with your wife, you think, and she's leaning over the table and, Brad, I have something to tell you. And then all of a sudden you hear from across the room, congratulations! I didn't know you were having a boy.
It's like, the best part is, if you ever know someone's doing that, you could sit there.
You could make stuff up.
Screw with them.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be fun.
That'd be the fun part of it.
That would be.
You and I have the same mind.
Yeah, we get it. It's a good thing Marlo's not here. Yeah, we would go right down that road, and so we'd be thinking up ways to do that right now.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
What are the top 10 ways to screw with somebody who's eavesdropping on your conversation?
Right? Especially if you knew that person, like you could like tie them somehow into it.
Oh, yeah.
Fun.
Well, we live in a smaller community. Odds are we do know them.
Probably, yeah.
Or at least recognize them. So one of the other cool things, what color are your AirPods?
White.
Do you like white AirPods?
I don't mind it.
Would you like a different color?
I wouldn't mind having the same color as my phone, maybe.
Color's your phone?
Well, my phone's white.
Okay. Well, all right. So
I like titanium, though. I saw on the phone they have titanium.
Yes, that is a color. So some new colors for the over-ear AirPod Max headphones, which now charge over USB-C instead of Lightning. The new colors include, and which one of these would be your favorite? So there's Midnight, blue, orange, purple, and starlight.
I'd go orange.
You'd go orange? You want to stand out in a crowd?
I'd go orange because I'm a Tennessee Volunteers fan. So
okay, fine. A little loyalty there. But so orange it is. But now there's multiple colors. So the over-the-ear ones are the cool ones because I like those. The over-the-ear headphones, I'm a big fan. I got to have the sports. When I go buy headphones, I always have to do the sport headphone because I need it to hook on my ear because I've got little smaller ears and things don't stay in my ear like I would like them to, or it's a looser fit. They just get dislodged. I'd be worried about losing something. But the new AirPods Max hold steady at the same price of $549 and will be available for sale very soon. But right now, you can pre-order them.
Well, I know there's a lot of people going to that over the ear because they don't want the sound that close to their eardrum.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. We're thrilled to have you with us as we continue exploring living with technology alongside Marlo and Steve.
You're tuned to the Tech Ranch with Brad Feldman. I'm Steve Bakken, and we're talking about Apple Day and all the new cool stuff from Apple. If you're an Apple user, I'm not, so I got to rely on somebody else who uses Apple. Marlo's an Android guy too, so I don't feel horribly bad because there's it seems like Apple people they look down on us.
They do, yes. I was one of you at one time.
Yeah, you were one of us, and you were an Android platform person, and so you didn't get snobbish, did you? Or
I'm not going to get snobbish.
Okay.
Everyone.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
Apple,
about.
Android, what is it?
Get with the times.
Yeah.
Get an Apple. It's like,
no.
I did.
You went over to the dark side.
I did.
But thank you for not being a snob about it.
I'm not going to be a snob.
Appreciate that.
Have their own thing.
So we're talking about the AirPods. So Apple isn't making a new set of AirPods Pro, however, but it is enhancing its hearing protection technology for those AirPods Pro. One feature reduces the decibels coming into your ears in loud environments. So a little bit of that noise canceling side of things. Yeah. Not the full noise canceling, but it'll drop the sound down to tolerable levels or healthier levels. So you can wear them kind of like earplugs.
That's going to be a big thing, especially if OSHA signs off on them.
And your wife snores.
Not worried about her.
Okay.
She'll probably want them.
She wants them because you snore.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I'm tired of listening to his sleep apnea. All right. But you can use them as earplugs. So you can go to a concert and see everybody wearing AirPods while the band is playing, and which
you don't know is their
doesn't that defeat the purpose of going to a concert?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you're talking about this where it automatically lowers the volume. Like there's some times where I just want to rock out to some good music, and it's like I want that loud.
Now, one of the features that, and I don't know if they'll be able to fully replicate this because, and I'm a hunter. I do a lot of shooting, and I wear the noise. They're not noise canceling, but
they muffle it.
Well, when you can have a conversation with somebody, and then when a gunshot goes off, it deadens the sound.
Yep.
So hearing protection in that way. I'm wondering if these are going to get to that level as well.
I don't see why they couldn't.
I know they could.
I mean, I don't see why they couldn't with the way technology is going.
Well, but that comes back to the OSHA question. You know, it's like, do they get to the point where you can use them on a job site as hearing protection? That's a different level from a licensing or safety certification perspective. But I'm wondering if they're going to get to that point.
If they get to the point, here's what I think. If they can get to the point where it's hearing protection, but they also have kind of like that hearing aid component, so you can still hear the guy a little ways away, like, hey, heads up, or hey, could you get me a hammer?
Well, like
I'm talking.
Yeah, like my shooting headphones.
Then I think you could get OSHA to sign off on that, and that's going to be a big time game changer.
It's a different piece of market share that opens up a lot of doors.
By far. Yep. I think that'll be a game changer to the point where you're going to see a lot of that stuff around the job sites.
Okay, I can see the downside of that, though, too, because if you're on a job site and you're working, it's like, okay, well, is he using it as, or she using it as hearing protection, or are they listening to a podcast or music or something while they should be working? Or, if you're someplace where you
just get them that upbeat music so they work faster.
Well, okay.
That's a management claim right there.
But here's the interesting part. What if AI was able to come in and go, okay, this is your work, or your employer was able to give you work direction via those headphones? So instead of your foreman having to get out of his pickup truck and walk over and tell you, it's like, okay, we need to move that over there and do this and this and this, you were able to do it through the headphones, or you were able to have AI manage a job.
So if you could get to a point where someone could create that software that when you come on a job site, it connects and you can just see on the monitor everyone's different AirPods and you could just hit a button and talk to them. That's an opportunity.
Okay, Marlo and I do this all the time where we give these really good ideas away for free.
Right.
There's one right there.
Yeah. So then, you could actually have someone in a studio like we're in right now with a camera on a job site, pressing buttons, talking to people.
Hey, we need those bricks brought over to that other brick wall because they ran out, but the other guy's still good. So
I'm telling you, think of how much more efficient you could be as a foreman, where you could have one person managing 2 different job sites at a time.
Or more than
3
that.
or 4 or 5.
Well, and this is where I'll take technology a little bit too. So anybody who's worked in a hospital setting, in a surgical theater, and you'll have anesthesia is a great example for this. Mm-hmm. So you have nurse anesthetists that are managing a single patient. The anesthesiologist will supervise multiple operating theaters because they don't have to sit there the whole time. They usually are the ones that will put somebody under, and then it's managed through an operation, because if it's a 2 or 3 or 4 hour operation, they have other patients that they can manage that case with, where a nurse anesthetist, their assistant, can be the one sitting right there, and they can sit in another room and manage cases in multiple surgical theaters.
Yep.
You can expand that into almost anything.
And you think about, with the workforce shortage that we have, that is going to help every industry get past that workforce shortage.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity for some.
Well, and that's where AI comes in and gets just crazy.
Can I just get some royalties for the idea, please?
We can share.
Okay, perfect. Let's share.
Okay. So in the Pro 2 models, Apple's also offering a clinical hearing test to gauge your hearing loss, as well as over-the-counter hearing aid certification that let the AirPods double as true hearing aids. Now, like I said, the capabilities there, it's not quite there on the platform yet, but it's definitely sure to be disruptive to the growing OTC hearing aid market, because we're seeing all the time that there's infomercials for these hearing aids or this or that product. Well, now AirPods have stepped into that space as well.
And it's going to be a little more fashionable, I guess, if that's the word, compared to the traditional hearing aid.
Well, I didn't even think about the fashion side of it, but you're right.
I mean, you're not going to be walking around. I mean, nothing against the traditional hearing aids, but AirPods are a little bit different, right? I mean, it just looks better.
Yeah, and they're very different depending on the type of hearing loss as well. So there's a lot of different configurations for hearing aids, but if this can check all the boxes.
And multifunctional.
Great.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270.
This is Outdoor Issues with Neil Roberts and North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist Greg Gullickson.
The Triangle Y Camp is a staple of North Dakota. Joining me now is the president of the Minot Wiseman, Luke Heilman, to tell us more about it. And Luke, tell us what the club all does to support youth in the outdoors.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. The Triangle Y Camp is an essential part of young kids and getting them outside, getting them involved in the outdoors, between having our riflery range, our archery range, as well as fishing activities that these kids get to do all on the shores of the beautiful Lakes of Kakawea. It's really all about getting them outside, getting them involved in these outdoor activities and just having fun while doing it. So that's an important part of Triangle Y Camp and what we support as Wiseman.
All right, good stuff. Hey, more on Triangle Y Camp when we come back.
It's the largest Scandinavian festival in North America. The Norse Coast Fest in Minot is upon us. It kicks off Wednesday, September 25th and runs through Saturday the 28th. Top acts include the Gaelic Storm and the Texas Tenors Wednesday afternoon and the Church of Cash Wednesday night. Fab Four Tribute Band Thursday afternoon and Trace Atkins Thursday night. Jay Leno Friday afternoon, followed by Ryan Bingham Friday night and Garrison Keeler on Saturday. That's the Norse Coast Fest in Minot. Don't miss it.
Nothing says game day like good friends and great food. And at Slim Chickens, we know great food. From our 100% all-natural chicken tenders, fresh-made wings served with house sauces, to delicious chicken sandwiches, crisp salads, southern sides, and desserts you just can't get anywhere else. At Slim's, we have the food you love, made fresh for the people you care about. Dine in, drive through, or order online. Slim Chickens. Fresh, delicious chicken.
We're with Luke Heilman talking Triangle Y Camp, and of course it has been here for decades. Luke, an integral part of Central North Dakota, teaching youngsters skills in the outdoors. How can people help you guys out?
One of our main fundraisers is the Minot Wiseman PBR that we put on every fall. This year it's October 25th and 26th, so I would encourage everybody to go out and purchase a ticket directly through our Minot Wiseman PBR website. Come on out and support everything that we do as a club and everything that we raise as far as funds to send to Triangle Y Camp to, again, give this experience to these young kids that go down to shores of Lakes of Kakawea to enjoy the outdoors and learn.
How much do you enjoy it personally?
I love it.
Why?
It just gives back to the community and gives back to the younger generation and gets these kids outdoors and gets them involved in all kinds of activities between shooting rifles and being on Lakes of Kakawea, fishing, shooting bow. It gets kids out of the living room and into the outdoors.
Luke Heilman, everybody. That concludes this edition. If you miss one, catch us on the website, outdoorissues.com. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Outdoor Issues, brought to you in part by the Norse Coast Fest, by Slim Chickens in Minot, and enjoy a home-cooked meal at Homesteaders in Minot.
Cash me out. Catch me out. How about that?
$30,000 could be yours. Starting Monday, listen for 3-digit codes on the 30s from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Enter the codes you hear into the free Supertalk 1270 mobile app for your chance to win. You have up to 10 chances per day to win up to $30,000. Download the free Supertalk 1270 app in the App Store or Google Play today. So go ahead, put a down payment on that truck, take that bucket list vacation, pay down that student loan, or maybe just buy some food. Win up to $30,000 with the free Supertalk 1270 mobile app, and you can say,
cash me out.
Powered by Jamestown Roofing. Their new Bismarck office is ready to get to work for you. Click JamestownRoofingND.com for a fast and free roof inspection. Win up to $30,000.
Cash me out.
On Supertalk 1270 and the free Supertalk 1270 mobile app.
Cash me out.
What this has evolved into is there's a German publisher called KLXX Springer. And they are looking at the makers of AdBlock Plus, which everyone uses kind of on Chrome or Edge, and says, I want to block all these ads. I don't want ads. I'm going to put an ad blocker on my web browser.
No relation to Jerry Springer, right?
Right.
Okay.
But it says that, no, you're changing the HTML of our web pages to create a derivative work by blocking those ads. And therefore, you're violating our copyright by blocking ads on our websites.
Whoa. But I don't want ads.
Right. But no, but you're going after our HTML code. Right. And we have that copyright.
Changing the code.
But it's like HTML code technically can't be copyrighted. The website maybe, but so yeah, this is whole thing where we've gone from situation where we're renting software, we're renting Adobe to the point where now we can't even browse the web without looking at ads because they say, well, no, you can't block ads on our page.
So how much of this comes back to the argument that, okay, an open web, it's open, it's free space because that's the best benefit for people to be able to use it. How much of this comes back to that? Because by default, it's not an open and free space if now you're putting these constraints on what the products are and being, okay, this is something that the courts are going to really have to look at.
Well, it gets to this whole issue of scraping websites.
So define scraping websites.
Basically, like the Internet Archive is a website that goes out and it captures histories of web pages. The best example I could have is that every past presidential administration has their full website, their whole website managed by the National Archives, because that is a official document, even though it's a bunch of connected websites. Senators have the same thing where they're constantly updating their pages, taking things down, putting them back up. And this Internet Archive, they go out and they say, well, what did that page look like in 2015 compared to 2022? So they make copies of it. And you can go back and look and see what was there. The question is that now, is that going to become copyright infringement because you're making copies of somebody else's website? The downside is too, is that we look at politics and we don't really want to talk about politics, but let's say some politician says something boneheaded 20 years ago and then tries to bury it.
Because they never do that.
Right. Well, the Internet Archive has a copy of it, but they're going to try to deny it exists. But the Internet Archive has a copy. Well, what happens if Internet Archive shuts down? Then you could really hide something on the internet. Because what they say, once it's up on the internet, it never goes away.
Right. So that's kind of the mindset is anything that's on the computer and out in the internet, it's there forever.
Right.
But now you're telling us that there's a loophole that could change.
Right. Where you can just basically hide or just change your tune or change what you said or any number of things.
So you don't need to take a hammer to your hard drive.
That's right. Just let the courts take care of it for you.
Just let the courts take. Okay, so long term, what does this mean? And I mean, this is something that I could see taking decades in the courts to try to work through.
Long term, I mean, it's just going to wreak havoc on how people make things.
Which intellectual property, that's going to, that could change a lot of different things.
What if I told you there's one airport in the world, a large one, that has never lost a single piece of passenger luggage in 30 years? Listen up. You could win a bar bet with this one. From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your RM World Travel Minute, and I'm Rudy Maxa. It's Kansai International Airport in Japan, and it's no small airport. It serves about 7 million people in the nearby cities of Osaka, Kobe, and Kyoto. It was opened in 1994 on an artificial island in Osaka Bay, and the airport is darn proud of its perfect record. Every passenger's bags have gone to the right destination for 3 decades. What can you do to lessen the chances of a checked bag of yours never going astray? First, look to see if the correct 3-letter airport code is on the luggage tag affixed to your luggage, and check the flight number, too. Some airlines stop accepting bags 30 or 45 minutes or longer before departure, so don't count on arriving to check your bag too close to that cutoff time. You can call the airline to learn their rules that can differ at different airports. You'll find more travel info at rmworldtravel.com.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a town square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. Boeing and the Machinists Union are set to head to the bargaining table this week in an effort to end a strike of about 33,000 workers. Thousands are demonstrating in Israel, demanding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agree to a ceasefire in the country's war with Hamas. ABC's Matt Gutman was embedded with the IDF in Hamas tunnels under southern Gaza this past week.
We saw a tunnel that had to be about 12 to 15 feet high. It was big enough to drive a truck through. And, we've talked about previous tunnels I've been in and other embeds with the IDF in Gaza. And typically you have to kind of crouch duck your head a little bit. They're hot, they're humid, they're really close. This one was gargantuan, and the IDF believes that a significant amount of weapons were likely smuggled through it.
And in Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky continues to push for approval to use NATO weapons in Russia. He meets with President Biden this week. This is ABC News. Pop star Justin Timberlake was sentenced Friday in a plea deal for driving while impaired on New York's Long Island.
The judge sentencing the 43-year-old singer to 25 hours of community service. That's on top of a plea deal to make a public safety announcement before local and international media about the dangers of drinking and driving.
Even if you've had one drink, don't get behind the wheel of a car.
Justin Timberlake will be able to choose which community service he has to do. He has to pay a $500 fine, $260 surcharge, and his license will be suspended for 90 days.
ABC's Shanti Lans outside the courthouse in the Hamptons. And a concert for the rock band Jane's Addiction came to a sudden end in Boston last night after singer Perry Farrell punched his guitarist on stage while in the middle of a song. The band has not officially commented, but Farrell's wife posted on social media that he was angry over the stage volume. Mike Dubosky, ABC News.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. Sunshine today, a high near 81. A little breezy out of the south. For tonight, chance of showers and storms, then mostly clear overnight, a low of 59. Sunny mid-80s for Sunday. Monday, showers and storms with a high near 82. Breezy Monday night into Tuesday. If you're looking for a new place to live, stay, work, or play, check out Worthington, Minnesota. It's worth a look.
Right now, it's 80.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. ESPN's Adam Schefter says Niners star Christian McCaffrey's going on injured reserve, calf soreness and Achilles tendonitis, out at least another 4 games. College football right now, fourth quarter scores. Alabama rolling at Wisconsin 42-10. Jalen Milroe, 3 touchdown passes, 2 TD runs. Oklahoma State cruising at Tulsa 45-3. Alan Bowman, 5 touchdown tosses, 2 to DeJon Stribling. It's South Carolina now up 30-29 on number 16 LSU after the Gamecocks blow a 17-zip lead. Raheem Sanders, the lead 66-yard run. Memphis up 20-12 at Florida State. Missouri with a 24-14 lead on Boston College after the Tigers were down 14-3. And one ranked final. Michigan handles Arkansas State 28-18. Kalel Mullings with 153 rushing and 2 scores. WNBA last night, Aces win at Indiana, but Caitlin Clark 9 assists, breaking Alyssa Thompson's league season record of 321 set just last year. The rookie's great season continues.
I think everybody's just kind of raising their game. The competition's just getting better and better, and it's fun as a competitor to show up in this league every night and know you have to bring your best because, you know, who's ever on the other side of the court from you, they're going to bring their best.
Elsewhere, Mariners nipped the Rangers last night. First start in more than a year after Tommy John surgery. Texas's Jacob deGrom, 3+ shutout innings, 4 hits, 4 Ks.
But, you know, it was, like I said, getting back out there was the main goal, and now we'll try to lock that in here in between this and in between for the next start.
Baseball board right now. American League top 8. Red Sox over the Yankees 7-1. Garrett Cole hit hard. 4+ innings, allows 7 runs. Interleague top 7. Royals lead the Pirates 5-1 behind Michael Wacha. Joey Wallen, ABC Sports.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Need cash help but have bad or no credit? Then you need to go to FastLoansAI.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 regardless of your credit score. FastLoansAI.com is one of the largest lender networks. Their advanced technology can help anyone get up to $10,000. Best part? Money can be in your bank account as fast as the same day. When you need fast cash, go to FastLoansAI.com. That's FastLoansAI.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Talk of the Town with Steve Bakken. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
You're tuned to the Tech Ranch. I'm Steve Bakken. Brad Feldman sitting in for Marlo Anderson for a bit today, and we're running through Apple Day. A lot of cool stuff came out with Apple products, the iPod, the new phones, the AirPods. One of the cool things is Siri has got some upgrades, and they're using Apple Intelligence to do it, Brad. So how often do you use Siri?
Almost every single day.
Okay.
And I'll bet you at least it's at least a dozen times a day.
Okay. And part of the reason you switched over to the Apple platform is from the Android was you were looking for the personal assistant side of things. So more of the AI that you could integrate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the reasons.
So if Siri and AI are fully integrated at some point, you're probably going to be pretty happy, right?
Oh, yeah. I think it'd be a great thing.
Well, the newly revamped Siri and Apple Intelligence features will not only be available at the launch of the iOS 18, so it's not there yet, nor the release for the iPhone 16. Like I said, some of the features, they're just not there yet. They built some stuff into the devices. They haven't gotten the platform up and running. And we talked about that a little bit where, it's kind of a chicken and the egg, which one comes first. But the iOS 18.1 software update, that's where all the cool stuff is going to be coming. So you're on the phone, you're on the new devices, the watch. This is where when the new operating system kicks in and that upgrade takes place, there's going to be a lot more features that hop up on your devices.
Yep. And I always tell people when they bring up AI, I'm like, you know what? You might as well embrace it because that's the way we're going. Don't fight it. See how it can help you in your daily life.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah. As much as it terrifies you.
Well, and that's
take advantage.
That's what Marlo and I talk about. It's the tech side of how it affects daily life for a lot of people. So a lot of the features of the iOS 18 are going to bring these AI updates. So that's one big component. So as AI likes to do, the new additions help bring artificial intelligence features to the forefront on the iPhone. So now you've got your full integrated platform that you've been looking for. One new feature as well, Apple showed off, is the ability to point your iPhone's camera at a restaurant, place of business, a flyer, or any other informational sign and ask Siri to tell you more about it, and it'll do that.
Oh, my Lord.
Here, Siri. Well, okay, so
you don't even have to go to Google anymore.
No. So and that's one of the things that Apple's been trying to get away from with their platform is because, just Google it, and they don't like that. That's one of the features that I've got. I can take a picture of something or scan something with my Galaxy Pro with AI, and it'll give me the full-blown details of what I can take a picture of a plant. It'll tell me all about the plant, or a flower, or an event, or a restaurant, or it's crazy some of the stuff you can learn different stuff about by going click, done, and it'll give me all the details, all the background, all the information, everything I need to know about it.
So when we have this technology, here's my question, because I've seen the plant. There's an app where you can scan a plant and it'll tell you if it's deficient in nutrients or water or whatever, and what you need to do to get it so it's back to normal life.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, if that all that intelligence is built in our phones, do we need to pay for apps anymore?
That's a great question.
Because all those apps where you have to pay for, they're kind of going to become null and void because your AI and your phone's got all that built in.
How many phone apps do you have that you've paid for on your phone?
Maybe 3.
30.
No, 3.
3, okay.
I don't pay for apps. If
I don't either.
For an app, I'm sorry, it's not that important to me.
A pay-for-play app on my phone, I have this many, Brad. What am I showing you?
0.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's how many I have. I don't do that. And it's funny. It's like people pay for upgraded emoji packages.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Did you really need to spend money on that?
No.
I'm perfectly fine with what's built into the device.
The only ones I will pay for are like my diet tracking stuff. So when I do get on this health kick that I'm on now, so I can track it. That's it. Those are the only ones I'll pay for.
Okay, so in your research of finding the app that you utilize, were there free options?
So there were free options. The one I use, it is a free option, but I pay for an upgrade because then it gives me like meal plan prep. It also gives me like exercise stuff, that additional stuff that I can do other than just, oh, you went for a 40-minute walk today. Here's what you were supposed to.
What it equates to.
Yeah, it'll actually give me challenges, and then you're in like a group board thing, and you enter these challenges and see where you stack up against other people. It's nice. The competitive edge of it. And I think I paid like $5 for it, so I'm not a big deal.
It's very nice. So, one of the cool things with this, and I can do this with mine because my AI phone, if I'm taking a picture of something or a flyer, I'm like, that's cool. Add it to my calendar. Boom, done.
Yeah.
It's like the event with all the information, it's now on my calendar.
Absolutely.
If I've got a favorite restaurant and I'm looking at, hey, pop up the menu and stuff, it'll store that so I can go back to that reference at any point.
Yep.
Which I recently found a really good barbecue place that I like.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'll have to tell you about that during the...
Well, that sounds like fun. I like barbecue.
Really, really good.
I really like barbecue.
So it's a lot like the Google Lens. So do you ever use Google Lens when you were on the Google?
I did not.
Okay.
Nope.
So it's a lot like Google Lens, and shows the types of productivity and search features Apple is targeting with its AI audience. So again, they don't like Google it.
No. Can't imagine Apple not liking someone saying Google it.
Google it. Yeah. Apple.
Is that one of those things, if you work at Apple, do you get fired if you tell someone to Google it?
What if you work at Applebee's?
That's a good place too.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite. 2 for $25.
Amen.
Yeah.
Every time. That's what my wife and I.
Late night happy hours, all kinds of good stuff. I just never stay up late night anymore. So there's actually some new updates with the iOS system as well. We're going to talk about that when we come back. But for as far as AI, in the last couple seconds here, what would be your favorite feature every day that you could have on your AI side?
I honestly think it would be just so I could say something in there like, write me a caption for this video or this photo. That's catchy. Because sometimes I can't think of them that quick.
back with the Tech Ranch. Get ready for more amazing tech insights from the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Steve Bakken on the Tech Ranch, along with Brad Feldman from our local junior hockey team, the Bismarck Bobcats, and we're talking about Apple and Apple Day and all the cool stuff that came out with Apple. And I'm not an Apple user. I'm an Android platform guy. So is Marlo, for that matter. So wanted to talk to somebody who has recently gone over to the Apple side because, what, a year and a half ago?
Maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, you were still the cool platform.
I was
guy.
a tried and true Android guy. I was never going to change.
Okay, so one of the new things, and this is where the battle goes back and forth, and I talked about this, the chicken and the egg, is, do you give the device the ability to do these things, or do you wait until the operating system comes out and then add the device afterwards? And what Apple did this time around is they put a lot of features from what's coming in the next operating system into the devices, and you're just going to have to wait. There's some things you're going to have to wait for. So the newly revamped Siri and Apple Intelligent features will not be available at the launch of the iOS 18. So new updates on the iOS 18. So you don't have to wait long, but you do have to wait a little bit.
Gives you something to look forward to.
It's like Christmas in
July.
Yeah, or a little before Christmas.
There you go.
So the iOS 18 now has a release date, and it's right around the corner. I mean, it's right here. So it's also going to be available on compatible iPhones. The new operating system is arguably what will make your iPhone feel new. So even if you don't pick up one of these new phones right away, you're going to have a new feel. It's kind of like, I don't own an electric car, but I think the coolest feature of somebody who does is you park it in your garage at night, you plug it in, and when you come out in the morning, it had computer updates and all kinds of stuff, and you're driving a brand new car. It's a new car every day.
Yep.
Because there's constant system updates to it. So it's refreshed, if you will. So the new operating system is going to do that to older phones that are on the operating system. So there's kind of two components I'm seeing here. It's like, one is the 16s, which people get ahead of the new operating system, and they get a brand new cool phone, and then the operating system upgrades and kicks in, and then they get another brand new.
Yeah, right.
And then if you had the old phone, you get a new phone. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, that's like Christmas and then another Christmas. So one of the cool features is there are a lot of personalization options that will let you change the look of the home screen, the control center. You can finally move apps around wherever you want them. So you can reconfigure things on the screens, which will be kind of cool. Because I know a lot of people I've talked to, it's like, okay, it is where it is. And you just kind of learn that.
Yeah.
It says, well, you can personalize it, customize it, make it fit into, if you want this app next to this app, you can, it's more maneuverable that way.
Yep.
So you can also even hide and lock apps behind authentication. So Face ID will be required to read your Slacks or see your photo roll.
That's kind of nice.
So
added security?
Yeah, a little extra layer of security to that. So if you've got some photos that, I don't want to put those up on the big screen, you can put those in a different file. You can kind of hide those away. That's like, but you don't want to get rid of them because you might use them later for a social media post, but you don't want them out there first.
Right.
So, or photos you may want to keep from your children, or, that extra layer of security, that's going to be very advantageous for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So your Face ID will be required to read your Slacks or see your photo roll. Another big addition is support for rich communication services, which brings the modern texting standard to iPhones. That means texting with friends on Android won't be as painful as before. And that's one of the reasons you switched over to.
It is.
Yeah, in the first place.
I got tired of people saying, could you just change because your bubble is a different color?
Well, they could read the message.
Well, they can read it, but they're like, it's just a different color. And then it takes longer for your messages to come.
Yeah, they wouldn't go at the same rate.
Yeah.
So that is going to be a huge change. And by the way, so what that tells me and our listeners and you is the problem was on the Apple side.
Oh, 100% it was.
Because they didn't want to play nice in the sandbox with anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all.
They didn't pass kindergarten.
Yeah,
Can't share.
Yeah. It's like, here, have a cookie. Have a cracker. So that sharing with friends on Android devices, and I understand why Apple was doing that before because they had such a big market share in the beginning and they wanted to hold on to that and they didn't want people going back and forth. It's like, well, I've got friends and family on this. I better stay on this or I better get that and use that same platform. Well, that doesn't work today. Kind of like the charger thing that we talked about, with going to the USB-C, which was painstakingly long process getting Apple to switch and not change their charging port every new phone. And
right.
Yeah. So now everybody's on the same page for that. So when we talked about Apple and Android and trying to make users' lives more compatible and user-friendly and simplified, then this is a big step. And I give a lot of kudos to Apple to going, you know what? It's time to play nice. It's time to, people like what they like. We just have to do a better job of marketing, providing services, providing the operating system, providing the devices that people want instead of bullying people into having to use our products.
Right. Well, and maybe now at this point, maybe they had a certain market share they wanted to have and they finally hit that number and said, okay, fine. We'll play nice with you guys.
To me, that's of all the stuff we talked about with Apple Day and all the changes, all the difference, the cool stuff, because I'll admit there's some cool stuff and all of that. The biggest thing is, and I don't want to go as far as to say compatibility between, but the ability to navigate more easily between the two platforms. Yes. When, like I said, my wife and I, we have a mixed household. We got a mixed marriage. She's Apple, I'm Android.
Yeah.
And for us to communicate, because I like what I like and she likes what she likes, and that's fine. I give kudos to Apple for realizing that they can make people's lives simpler.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just because someone likes something else, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So we're good with that.
You've returned to the Tech Ranch, where technology is our passion. Let's jump back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve.
Steve Bakken along with Brad Feldman sitting in for Marlo Anderson on the Tech Ranch. And are you a big streaming person when it comes to movies and programs? And
that's all I have.
Really?
I only have streaming services.
So you've cut the cord?
I've cut the cord.
Fully cut the cord?
We had DirecTV for 20 years. I just finally said enough.
Well, you're supposed to switch every 2 years between cable and the satellite providers because that's where you get the cheap discount.
Yeah, sorry.
But it gets cumbersome.
It takes more time.
It does. It's very cumbersome. See, I would like to, but I cannot cut the cord. And the reason I can't cut the cord is because I don't actively watch anything other than maybe football.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. But the nice thing is, I can take everything with me.
Right.
DirecTV you could kind of take with you on your phone, but
there's some apps, but and I've got Midco, Mid-Continent Communications for my cable provider, and there are things that I cannot. If I'm on my phone or my tablet, I can watch anything I want off of my account and what I have at home, but the local programming side of stuff, like if I'm going to watch Minnesota Vikings game, because I can't, hey now.
Sorry, I'm a Giants fan.
I know you are. It's a great week earlier this season.
Yeah.
Season opener was awesome. Actually, there's a Minnesota Viking that actually said he felt sorry for Daniel Jones after the game.
I'm going to be honest with you. I cheered for the Vikings' first touchdown because that running back was on my fantasy team.
All right, fair enough. And that's why I don't do fantasy, because it's like, people aren't fans of teams anymore.
Exactly.
So anyway, you can't cast everything and I want to watch something on a bigger screen. So it's a little cumbersome that way. But I'm a passive TV watcher, so I'm not streaming everything, because I walk in the door and flip on the local news or TV or whatever is on while I'm making dinner or whatever else I'm doing. I just don't, for the streaming side of things, I don't have the time to take 45 minutes to figure out something to watch, to spend more time to watch it. Just my day is too busy. My life is too fast. So for me, it's background stuff. And I want to flip something on and go, all right, decompress. I don't have to be engaged with something. But that means the engagement to get engaged with something, I don't have time for.
Yeah, and for me, the thing I like about the streaming is I'll have a plan of what I want to watch.
Yeah, so you map that out.
Yes, I'm thinking about it on my drive home, or I'm thinking wherever I have time. Because like you said, busy running. I mean, we both have pretty busy lives, right? So I'll have something I want to watch. Maybe it's something just to relax, so it's a comedy of some kind.
Well, we have two streaming services because my wife has Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And we have Netflix because her teacher friends wanted her to watch this really cool show that was on back in the day. Orange is the New Black.
Okay. Yeah.
Had to get that. We got Netflix for that because her friend said she had to. So what she relies on a lot is we have a couple friends that, okay, this is on. You need to watch this. This is on. You need to watch this. We don't actually go out and actively look at something unless it is on one of the streaming services that was a movie that was in the theaters I wanted to see, because it's weird now because things in the theater were there for 30 seconds and will still be in the theater, but are also streaming.
Yes.
And a lot of people have gotten the habit of, not going to the theater, because for two of us to watch something or a family to watch something, they can rent it for less than going to the theater. And if you've got a good TV and sound system at home, why not? I can pause it and go to the bathroom. I don't have to miss anything. It's funny. I actually got friends that will go to the theater, buy the concessions, because you can't beat theater popcorn.
You cannot.
And then go home to watch the movie that is at the theater, but they're home streaming it.
Because you still get your experience because you get that great butter popcorn.
I thought that was the craziest thing ever, but it's a thing because more and more and more people that I've talked to do that.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah. But so let's stick with Netflix because you and I both have Netflix.
I do.
So right now, the best movies out on Netflix, kind of an interesting list. I want to find out what you've seen. So, because movies are weird, because the streaming services do movies and they do their own, and they also have they bid for what's coming off the theaters from the big production companies that are theater runs, and usually they're in the theater for a day solo, and then it's if you want to buy it at home, great. And then they do television shows or series, and we'll get into some of the series as well. But the top movies out here on Netflix: Rebel Ridge.
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it.
Looks good. I'm looking at it right now. It looks really good.
Yeah. Tick, Tick, Boom.
Have not seen that one.
Okay. It's kind of a modern day First Blood.
Okay.
It was Rebel Ridge, anyway. So Rambo.
Yep. That'd be good.
Wicked Little Letters.
That doesn't sound like something just on the face of it that I would watch.
Okay. But that was a theater movie. Lumberjack the Monster.
Nope.
And that's a foreign film. The Long Game.
No, I've not seen it, but you told me about it.
I did tell you about it. This is one that I've seen because my wife was like, we got to watch this because one of her friends said this. It's based on a true story. Follows World War II veteran turned high school superintendent back in the 50s down in Texas. And it's around golf and some Mexican-American teenagers that I won't let the cat out of the bag, but great film. So that's the only one I've seen on this, and I would highly recommend it. This is one I have not seen yet, but when it came out in the theaters, because this is it was 30 seconds in the theaters, and oh, hey, now it's on the streaming services. Right. Were you a big fan of Beverly Hills Cop?
I was
that
not.
franchise.
I was not.
Okay. 1 was awesome. 2 was pretty good. Then it got a little stupid. But
like all sequel.
Beverly Hills Cop 3 was, yeah. Anyway, but people have been, hey, we need a 4, and they came out with one. So Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, and from what I've seen on the trailers, it looked pretty good. I have not seen it yet, but it's on my list to go see. So I'm going to add that. But what the streaming services do for a lot of people, give an opportunity for a franchise like this, where in your case, you haven't seen the other Beverly Hills Cops movies. Well, if you're going to watch this movie, would you go back and watch the other ones so you get a preface of what the character and the plot's about?
See, and to me, I would go back and watch the first one, second one, third one, then fourth.
Right.
That's how I would do it.
And that's the beauty of streaming services. So when you're looking at different advantages to cutting the cord, that's one of the ones that I see is a huge advantage.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Steve Bakken, along with Brad Feldman, sitting in for Marlo Anderson this week on the Tech Ranch, and we're talking about cutting the cord and some of the different options out there. We're talking about Netflix and some of the cool movies out there, some things Brad hasn't seen, and which are a lot of them. Yeah, I know. Well, you're into sports stuff, and that's one of the nice things, because with the streaming service, and we're talking about Netflix, but with all the streaming services, they kind of spread it around a little bit and have a little something for everybody. You like getting into the sports documentaries or the true stories. It's like, kind of like I told you the last segment, long game. Sports story, it's a great story. Highly recommend it. But there's always a little something for everybody. I like the documentaries too. Whether it's sports ones or not, some of the history stuff and the documentary stuff, it's a little bit, it's more long form. So the streaming companies that want to do a good job on things, whether you're getting in depth about Michael Jordan or different political characters or whomever it may be, telling that story, a series might be 4 or 5 shorts, but they get to tell the story in long form. And that's what I appreciate about some of the streaming services.
And honestly, that's what I like too, is I like watching the history documentaries. That's my favorite part of it. The other thing I like, the streaming services, you can go back and watch the old TV shows and they'll have them all lined up for you. You can just start on episode 1, go all.
Okay, what's your definition of old TV show?
I'll say How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, okay.
But I'll go back to Cheers. Like,
I was thinking more like Happy Days and Gilligan's Island, but that's me.
All right. I'll even go back to Cheers. I will still say that is the greatest show ever made.
Actually, a little Cheers connection here, because a couple degrees of separation. One of the things that I've really fallen into, Fox Business has a series narrated by Kelsey Grammer that is, Revolutionary War, Civil War stuff. And oh my gosh, he does such a good job of narrating those on Fox. But they are amazing. And it's a little of the history, a little of the backstory. They give more information. It's really a good series.
I'm a huge fan of those kinds of things.
Yeah, I love them myself. So just wrapping up on some of the top movies out on Netflix right now, The Imaginary.
No.
Horror flick? No, you haven't.
I don't do horror movies. Nope.
Under Paris?
No.
No?
No.
Hanging out the Eiffel Tower?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Not of interest to me.
Yeah. Okay, this is what I want to see.
Okay.
And just because I'm kind of a Glenn Powell fan, I'm kind of getting to appreciate a little bit more of what he does. And I kind of tuned into him on Hidden Figures when he was John Glenn in that. And I am appreciating his acting more and more. I think my wife appreciates the scenes with him not having a shirt on, but
there you go.
But I
Whatever
like
works for you.
I like his acting. So Hitman
sounds good.
Yeah, well, that was on film for a minute and then hit the streaming services. So Glenn Powell, who plays Gary Johnson, is a mild-mannered professor of philosophy and a contract killer.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I'm in on that one.
Make sure you get your homework in on time.
Right. Yeah. If you're late.
Yeah, don't be late. Don't be late with your homework. So those are some of the top movies on Netflix. One of the other things that the streaming services do, and like I said, we're talking about Netflix because you and I both have that. But one of the other things they're able to do is put together some pretty good series, whether it was the British one that my wife liked to watch or, Downtown Abbey. Or it was the other one with the
I just had it here.
Yeah, I know.
Ozark?
No. Well, yeah, I watched Ozark. Was great.
Yes.
Loved Ozark. And it very dark for that actor too.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to the end of it yet. So
okay. All right. I'm not going to say another word. I won't ruin it for you. But
like Designated Survivor started on ABC and then ended up getting kicked off there and went over to the streaming service.
Well, that's the other thing too, is the streaming services have an ability to continue on where, it's cost prohibitive for some of the networks to carry a show on, but it's not cost prohibitive. Or if those actors and actresses want to carry on a project, it gives a great avenue for them to do that. And things that don't get a sniff from the networks will get sniffed out at the streaming services.
Right.
So again, about options, and it's a nice way to, if you want to cut the cord, those major networks are there. You just have to throw an antenna up. And I've got actually a couple TVs that do that. So if my cable service is out or they're working on something, I still have my local channels and I can watch my local news and things like that. So there's always that option. As far as the streaming services, so their best shows right now.
Okay.
And we'll see if you've seen any of these. Chaos.
No, I've not seen Chaos.
Okay, it's a little modern twist
my life.
On Greek mythology. So if you're kind of the history guy, you might like this. It has Zeus in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it's a little Greek mythology thing. So yeah. And I got reading into this one and it's like I might have to check this one out because it's got a little connection to Doctor Who, and I know you're into British television stuff, so there's kind of a little twist on there with some of the same folks. So might have to give that one a look. The Perfect Couple.
No, that sounds like something my wife would make me watch.
How about The Boyfriend?
No.
But that sounds like something your
my wife.
My wife
would make me watch that. I could say that. I know she's not going to listen.
So did you ever watch Killing Eve?
I did not.
That series.
Nope.
So this is one of those ones where you have an opportunity to go watch something before and then come back. So Cleo, which is in season 2 now on Netflix, if you were a fan of Killing Eve, in the same vein. So that's the other thing that the streaming services are able to do is, expand on, hey, we're going to take a character from that and go their own direction, or build off a plot line that was in one series that ended and go another direction with it. That's one of the things they've really gotten good at. Have you seen Sweet Home?
No.
Is
it about Alabama?
No, it's not. And I was thinking that too. It's actually based on a Korean webcomic and kind of a foreign film flavor to it, but it brings a twist. It does stand a little apart from the horror crowd, but it kind of falls into that genre.
Oh, okay. That's something I'd probably shut off after a little bit.
So you watch TV with the lights on then?
Yeah.
And the other one on the list right now is the Decameron. So up against the clock. Brad, thanks for filling in this week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. You're tuned to the Tech Ranch.
And that's a wrap on another fantastic episode of the Tech Ranch. Remember, if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology.